I do think that when things get really tough and I can take a moment and say, oh, right, remember I'm supposed to walk with you today and you're there to take care of all my problems. There is a peace in that. And this, not just this business, but this life is, we have a new set of interesting problems with today's time. And the more it comes, the more I talk to God all the time. I actually talk to God all the time. People don't know it, but I can be in the car talking to him. That's the best part about having a personal relationship with God.
We all have those moments where we need a little encouragement to get through our day. Someone to remind us that we are not alone. Find peace. Embrace joy. Seek God daily. Welcome to Jesus Calling Stories of Faith. Our guest is award-winning actress and singer from both the stage and the screen, Kristin Chenoweth. Kristin started performing at an early age, singing gospel songs in church and acting in school plays. An eclectic performer, Kristin is as comfortable singing in front of a church choir as she is performing solos in Broadway plays. She talks with us about her varied career and how her faith has always anchored her through every season of her life.
I'm Kristin Chenoweth, self-admitted petite person, lover of donuts and dogs. Oh, and I also do Broadway and TV and film and movies and concerts and yeah. I grew up in a tiny town in Oklahoma called Broken Arrow. The closest town that you would know is Tulsa. So I usually say I'm from Tulsa, but I'm really not. I'm from Broken Arrow. And the best way I can describe it is lots of tornadoes, lots of wind, and our dirt in Oklahoma is red. That's how you know you're in Oklahoma. It's like red clay. So whenever I get home and I see that red clay, I feel so happy. And I'm so thankful I grew up in the house that I did. And I believe that God, puts children where they're supposed to be, whether they're biological or adopted. And I happen to be an adopted child, but I now know that God was in complete control with who I got as my parents. The truth is, my mom and dad are my mom and dad. If you met them and you saw us all together, you would say, that's their kid. Growing up, that's when I learned to play the piano, and I learned music, and I was, just in my piano room writing, and I was writing poetry and, listening to music, and I don't know, that's when I really, first of all, came to understand what I wanted to do for a living, but that's when all the creativity was. The best gift that they gave me probably is the gift that I think is the most important thing that you can give your child, which is self-esteem. Not to be confused with overconfidence, but just follow your passion and do it with all your might. Work hard, play hard. Love what you do. If you don't love it, life's short. Don't live beyond your means. All those things. Stay humble. A smile goes a long way. Don't sweat the small stuff. Those are the kinds of things that I heard growing up that helped me a lot. My parents moved to Pennsylvania when I was at OCU in college, so I kind of got a little bit of graduation into the East Coast, but there's nothing that's going to prepare you from New York. I just remember walking down the street when I moved there, and I was just saying hi to everybody. Well, hi, and people were like, what? Move! I just didn't know, have your money ready when you're going to pay. People will yell at you. But now I've become a New Yorker. I'm like, gosh, what tourists, go faster. And I go back to Oklahoma, and my mom's like, you need to slow down. We're in line at McDonald's, and they're going to check out their time, and you need to slow down. You need to remember your roots. So my grandma, Mildred Chenoweth, Grandma Chenny is what I called her. She was a great mentor to me because I can remember walking in when I was a little girl, and from the, being out on the farm and being dirty, and her being really strict, like you gotta get in the tub, you gotta help with dinner, let's unload the dishwasher, let's load the dishwasher, now let's watch TV. We did things together, and then that stayed with us. It stayed with me up until through college, and when I go there on the weekends sometimes to do my laundry. And my grandma, for example, this tells a lot about who she is. When she passed away, we were looking through her stuff, and she didn't always say to me, "You're just so good," and "Look at this news article," and "I'm so proud of you." I knew she loved me. But when she passed away, I saw in her closet a big stack of all of the newspaper articles and magazines I've done, and she'd clipped and saved them. And then when she passed away, her Bible, me and my cousins looked through it, and every margin was filled with comments or questions that she had for God. Like, she wasn't just a studier of the Bible. She really talked and thought about it, and she wrote her thoughts in the margins. And when she wrote questions in the margins, they were literally questions like, "I don't understand this, remind me to talk to pastor about it." Like, you could see that she was really, and I think that's what God wants us to do when we read the Bible. I think that's what Spirit asks us to do. Like, how does this apply to me? And make sure you understand it. To this day, I'm calling my mom going, this doesn't make sense to me. Just because I still want to talk about it. I want to know. Knowledge is power. And sometimes it's not even so much that we can understand it, but it might hit us later. When I read like Psalms and Proverbs, let's say, I usually take the day of the month. Like if it's the 29th of the month, I'll read Psalm 29 and Proverb 29. One is very like, laugh and be joyful, make music unto him, sing with all your might, play instruments. And then one is like, do unto others as you would have. And I like that because it's two very, very, and I guess what I want to say is, to me, the Bible can be a great guide for our life. So a lot of people say you should do your prayer or meditation or whatever, your quiet time, whatever that is for you, in the morning. But for me, it's a nighttime thing. I can't sleep, so that is one thing that calms me, gives me peace. It's amazing, again, when you get quiet and you turn off the TV and you quit allowing yourself to ping pong your brain and get online and answer 45 things and do social media. Social media is a big one for me because it's part of my business too. But getting off of that and just reading the Word, praying, 15 minutes. I mean, it can be 5 minutes, it can be an hour. It's never like timed by me. It's just what it is, how it feels. But for me, it happens at night. And that when I don't do it, I can tell a difference in my week. Yeah, that's why I like Jesus Calling, because I get the app and I can read it every day before I start. And I tend to read it at night before I go to bed too. So Rita gave it to me, and this was, I want to say, 10 years ago. And it has been my constant. And I just wonder sometimes, we're good friends, but I wonder sometimes if she knows just how much that gift continues to give to me. I tell her a lot, and she's like, or she'll text me, "Did you read Jesus Calling today? Oh my gosh, it was written for me today." And that's the way I feel. It's almost like every day you read it, you go, "Oh my gosh, that's exactly what I needed." And it always seems to fit. I've given it to so many people. I just recently gave it to my boyfriend because he lost his copy, and I think it's important when you travel to, I have one in my bag about this big. I've given it to one of my best friends who's just the most amazing girl, and she's Jewish, her heritage Jewish, and I said, just read it. It's just an inspirational guide for you every day, and she loves it. I've given the really little ones out to different cast members on Broadway, just read it. And I think it's a question and a conversation worth having with the people that you love, whether they believe like you or not. But maybe if they read the book, they can become clearer of who or what Spirit is. So I'd like to read about joy, and this comes on the date January 3rd. There's much joy in here, but it says, "Be still and know that I am God." Most Christians are familiar with this command, but not so many take it seriously. Yet for those who do, blessings flow like streams of living water. As these believers sit in stillness, focusing on me and my word, their perception of me expands and their troubles shrink in importance. That is the truth. My troubles do shrink when I think about the word. I want you to share in these blessings, beloved. Take time with me. I was just talking about this. See what I mean? Remember, my word is a lamp to guide your feet and a light for your path. Biblical thinking illuminates the path before you so you can find your way. It's crucial to know not only that I am God, but that I made you and you are mine. That makes me feel good. You are a sheep of my pasture. Sheep have very limited understanding of what their shepherd is doing for them, but they follow him anyway. Similarly, as my sheep, your job is to trust me and follow wherever I lead. Sometimes that's hard because I question things and go, am I doing? I just calm down. My favorite part of this whole thing is it's crucial to know not only that I am God, but that I made you and you are mine. I think in this life, in this business, especially this industry, faith of some kind is going to work for you. I had a bad accident like 7 years ago on the set of a TV show, and I heard action and woke up in the hospital. And I had lots of injuries, but mainly what I had was time to heal. And I don't always do great with like left to my own thoughts because I'm a constant doer, you know. But I believe that sometimes things happen to you so that God can speak, because sometimes you can't hear when you get too busy. And that is a challenge I have still to this day in my life. It's like get too busy, can't hear what I'm supposed to hear. And when there's all this, you can't hear, like my mom keeps saying, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen twice as hard. And I don't think God makes things happen to you, but I think sometimes he allows things to happen to you so you have to get down on your knees and say, help. And it was hard. It was hard because I was in pain, but also I didn't want to just be there healing. I wanted to be doing something. I couldn't sing. I couldn't dance. I couldn't act. I could hardly move. And for a long time, my words were kind of not there on the tip of my tongue because of the getting hit in the brain. So it was a lot of prayer and a lot of just like, are you there, God? And then it was, oh, yeah, you're there, God. And then it was, and I'm here now too. Like it was like a 3-step. So I knew that I had kind of gotten so busy. And whenever that starts happening to me now, which is all the time, I get there, I go, oh, right, remember. Think, quiet, listen. It's a good lesson. My process in life is slower. My process in learning music and roles I do is slower. But I think the work is better because of it, because I'm taking the time.
We'll be right back with more of Kristin's story after this brief message about 2 holiday projects from Kristin that will debut on television this fall. Kristin Chenoweth stars as a youth director who needs to write a big song for a Christmas Eve show, but is distracted when a boy with a golden voice joins her choir, which comes as a surprise to his widowed father.
But I play a choir director who used to be a Broadway star but gave it all up to have her kids' choir. And a kid comes in from across town, and it's him being integrated in this choir and what it means and who he is to her and who she is to him and how it all unfolds. It's a beautiful, beautiful story, and naturally with Hallmark, it looks beautiful.
Don't miss A Christmas Love Story debuting on the Hallmark Channel on December 7th. And you'll love hearing Kristin singing carols with one of the most celebrated choirs in the world.
I'm very proud of it. It's both classical in nature and, soft pop. We have a Karen Carpenter song in there. We have, Mary Did You Know? We have a lot of the great Christmas things. We have a lot of more classical singing that I got to go back again to my roots and do.
Kristin Chenoweth's Christmas concert with the Tabernacle Choir will air during the holidays on PBS. One of Kristin's greatest joys in life is giving back with some of the things she's learned over her years in entertainment and working with others to help them bring their music and art into the world. She shares some of the special memories she made with her talented friends on her latest studio album, For the Girls, and also how she helps up-and-coming performers find their own unique talents with her annual Broadway boot camp.
Well, when I was setting out to do a new record, this was 2 years ago after Art of Elegance came out, I was like, what am I going to do now, And I just made a list of all the songs I wanted to do, and I realized a lot of them were famous women singer-songwriters, and I thought, it's just turning out to be that. I didn't set out to make a female strong album, but when you look at your material and that's what's inspiring you, you're going to do it. I went, we're talking about Dinah Washington, Barbra Streisand, Judy Garland, but we're also talking about Eva Cassidy, Edie Gourmet, Dolly. We're talking about Carole King, Patsy Cline, which was very scary for me because all I can hear is her version in my head of Crazy. Linda Ronstadt. It was all over the map for me growing up. And I wanted to celebrate them. And I wanted my younger fans to go, who's Eva Cassidy? Let me find out about her. Edie Gourmet, Doris Day, of course, we all think everybody knows, but to look at their catalog of music and what they did, incredible. Then I thought, who do I want? It's For the Girls. It's kind of what evolved. I would love to have a couple girls on there. Who would I want? Well, I'll never get her, but I want Dolly. I'll never get her, but I want Reba. Jennifer Hudson, I'm not going to get her because she's so busy, but she's my buddy. Maybe she'll say yes. Ariana, who I've watched grow up, she's too busy. She's not going to do it. And they all said yes. It felt like a culmination of all the work I've done all these years. A few of the people that I think are the best singers on the planet went, we see you, and we want to do it. And starting with Dolly. And she goes, if I'm going to sing with you, I want to do a song I wrote. And I'm thinking, it's not going to be I Will Always Love You. She's never going to give me that. And she did. And then she sang on it. I was like, no, like my hair extensions were like, fell right out of my head. I was so happy she said yes. And then when I heard it, because we had to record separately because of our schedules, and we were videoing back and forth, and I cried. I videoed her, and I was crying, and she videoed me back. She goes, well, I don't know if you're crying because you love it or you hate it. But I love it. And I think she liked what I did. I tried to put my stamp as well as I could on a song I've been singing my whole life, due to her. It's really a celebration for her, too. It is. It's me tipping my hat, saying, do you even know what that means that you wrote that song, I Will Always Love You? Reba is just, another queen, and I never thought, she's busy too. She's got her Vegas residency. She still sings. She still acts. She works all the time. And she's an Okie girl. And I thought, I want to do it because I'm a woman, but I want to do it with 3 different voices. So I thought Reba and I, though we both have a twang, we have different sounds. And then Jennifer Hudson, I said, maybe she'd join us on it. And she said, that's cool. I'm paying my homage to Peggy Lee in the song. Reba's doing Reba and Jennifer Hudson's doing her. And they're both singing their faces off. And it's pretty special. Yeah, I think it's important when you have been given opportunities and had success, you then need to give it to the people behind you. Because I look at Dolly, and do I get to talk to Dolly every day? No. Do I get to talk? I probably text Reba too much, but that I learn from them. I learn from Carol Burnett. I say, did this happen to you? Or, help me with how I should handle this. These are strong women too, not just artists. So I'm great at the show, not so good at business. And they've helped me. By watching Dolly, I've learned she's never sold a song of hers. She owns everything. I've watched Reba guide herself and be her own boss. Really, she really is. She decides. And I've learned from Carol, how to do it in fun and kindness. I always say to people younger than me, if you want to do this, make sure it's the only thing you want to do. If you can do something else and be happy and be good at it, then you should go do that. Because this is sacrifice. Dolly wrote a song called Sacrifice. And it's all about not being at a wedding, not being at a funeral, not being at someone's birth, not being at, there for someone, because when we work, it's holidays and special occasions. And it's sacrifice. And and the process of rehearsal. And I want these young kids to know that things don't just happen. You got to work at it. And you got to stay working at it. I still work on my voice. I sing every day. I practice. I rehearse the process of it. I have the Kristin Chenoweth Arts and Education Fund, and what we do is a lot of shows at the theater that they named after me in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. They built a state-of-the-art performing arts center, and they named the theater the Kristin Chenoweth Theater. And at first I thought, oh, what am I going to do with that? It's my name. It's my dad's name. It's my grandpa's name. But when you see it so beautifully done in such a beautiful building, you think, you better do something with it. And I started a Broadway boot camp, and this year, past year, was our 5th year. Lots of kids audition. I can only take about 50, and it's a full week at Tony Award week time. We start with a pizza party, and we watch the Tony Awards in my theater with a big screen. And the next day starts the intensive boot camp, which is singing, acting, and dancing. And at the end of the week, we put on a show. I bring in a lot of my famous friends, singers, actors, dancers, to help teach. We have a director, and we do a show, and the kids love it. And I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of the work we're doing. I will eventually expand it into a school, to a creative arts school, to where it's not just singing, acting, dancing, but also graphic design, art, directorship, writing, all of it. Because I want more people to come to Oklahoma, to my home state, and see what we've got going on there. When they get together at camp and they know nobody, and then by the end of the week, they're best friends and crying and holding on to each other, that is what I live for. Whether they become an accountant, an executive, a writer, a mom, a dad, I want them to do it with aplomb. I want them to do it with learning and taking this experience with them for the rest of their life. This is what I live for. I want them to soar in whatever they choose. Even when I make a mistake, I want them to see. Because A, nobody's perfect, B, we don't always make the right decision, and C, how are you going to handle it? I want them to know that I'm willing to learn from them. I want to learn from them. If I keep teaching what I know, I will learn too.
To check out Kristin's latest projects or see if she'll be performing near you, check out our website at officialkristinchenoweth.com. Next time on Jesus Calling, Stories of Faith, we speak with music legend and singing sensation Gloria Gaynor. As she's traveled the world sharing her talents, Gloria has encountered people from all walks of life, and she reminds us that despite our differences, there is one key factor that unites us all.
We're so busy fragmenting and majoring on minors that we don't get that we could do so much more for each other. We just need to come to understand and recognize and appreciate one another. And recognize that we are each and every one of us made in the image of God. And that deserves to be treated with respect, with dignity.
Thank you for watching Jesus Calling, Stories of Faith. To learn more about how to keep up with our shows bi-monthly and to listen to our weekly podcast, please visit youtube.com/JesusCallingBook to view and hear previous episodes, and to watch a short informational video about how to access all things Jesus Calling on audio and video formats. Plus, learn how to subscribe to our podcast and video channels. Your subscription helps get the word out to more people who will benefit from these inspirational stories of faith.